Hello folks, just a quick video on the upcoming election, which if you're listening to this a bit later on will have passed on December the 12th, but as it is at the time of making this video, it is shortly before. Now I just wanted to make a few points, what I believe is a very real danger for this country, and that danger basically involves who we may or may not elect as a country. Unfortunately, my opinion doesn't matter. But I think what I want to say is that people think the election has been called so that Boris can get a majority and pass Brexit. Now, even if he has a majority, if they do go to the House vote, what says that everyone's going to vote again? The referendum was not about votes from the House or from the Lords. The referendum was asking the people. They chose, and they got shafted by the left-wing media and by the government. Now, I don't blame Boris, I don't blame Theresa. Actually, I think Theresa got a lot of unfair stick. She's by no means perfect. She was, like many of our leaders, had to pay the piper, so to speak. But, you know what? She wanted Brexit the same as Boris. She just couldn't deal with it. She was an emotional wreck by the end of it. And yeah, she was, she'd be proud of herself. There are a lot of blokes that couldn't have done what she'd done. But she wasn't trying to block it herself. It was the Liberals and those above. The House of Commons is a pantomime. The House of Lords, probably a farce. So, what really rules the country is people with money above that. Now, those people can manipulate various characters, including the Secret Service, to push through their agenda. And, believe it or not, a lot of journalists work hand in hand with the secret state. And now what they are doing before this election is clear to me that they are trying to get Corbyn in power. Now, there's a lot of psychology behind this, and I'll explain it as best I can using my own knowledge. I'm no expert, you know what I mean? So I'm just going to give you it in my own understanding of what is likely going on. I'm not completely uneducated. I mean, I've been through college and all the rest of it. So, but basically, I think that what they're doing is they're trying to set up Corbyn to come in and win. Now, they do this partly through, I think, election fraud. Your vote is on a pencil, on a bit of paper, and it's counted by whoever is your local election officer and the staff that work with them. How do you know that they are not all chosen beforehand? You could organise something like that at the Masons, for instance, and they could very easily all be working in the interests of globalist New World Order, counting those votes or not counting them, so to speak. And I think the stuff in the media at the moment where they're trying to say Boris should win by a landslide, it's psychological. And what they really want is Corbyn in, and that is the real threat. I'll tell you why. Boris and Theresa and all the Tories have been wishy-washy. They were voted in by whites in rough parts of the country and whites that are out in the sticks. The ones out in the sticks probably still live in mostly white areas, and they don't see it the same as us, so they won't go any further right than Tory, because it just doesn't happen around them. But this is a mistake, and the Tories have proven that they're basically not there for anything really in particular. They've been weak, and even though Labour are left, and a lot of people understand that Labour could be really bad, which they'd be right, psychologically they are winners, because at the moment the Tories have pretty much been remembered for doing absolutely nothing. They probably have done some good stuff, but the media are mostly left-wing, so when you've got the media on your side as well, mainstream media, you can pretty much put out whatever you want. And of course they'll go and have private meetings, rituals and so on, I should think. I think that the media, with their subliminal and so on, they are trying to give Corbyn a leg up and to snatch the election. I think that's why these elections have been brought forward. And the reason as well is, this perfect storm scenario. The papers are always putting out that Corbyn is an anti-Semite, or he refused to say. I think this is all bullshit. Corbyn and lefties, there's always been a Jewish influence there. I'm not saying all Jews vote for Labour, but a lot of Jews are left-wing, and I don't think that Corbyn hates them, or... I mean, it's more about Israel, but I don't think he'll really do anything there. I don't think so. I think all this is to make him look more edgy and to make Muslims vote. Because, Muslims, a lot of Muslims, they come from countries where the Jews are really hated. Probably a lot more so than, right-wing people. And so if Corbyn can appear a little bit, not a lot, a little bit, is he going to help the Jews or not? Whilst at the same time they throw the anti-Set. See, they're going to get the Muslim vote as well. See, that's important, because there's so many Muslims in the country and they breed like rats anyway. Right, so they're always going to vote left-wing, but they need to make sure, it'll be Labour, because Corbyn might, maybe the Arabs can come and rule the country, Muslims. That's what they're thinking. I don't think it'll ever happen. It's not part of the New World Order, which I believe will be a sort of one world government with one God. It will have a God, but it won't be the ones that we're familiar with. Now, I think the key is here, that if you live in the north and you live in a mostly white area, yes, not everyone who's different to you is a bad person, but trust me, as a whole, in general, right, I'd rather, look, I live in an area where there's lots of people from all different backgrounds. I'd rather live among gypsies than I would among people from Africa or India and things. Not India, I'm not so bothered about India, I mean the Muslim countries where they're very aggressive. I'd happily live among gypsies compared to them. You don't understand really, I don't think, how the differences, there are just fundamental differences. So I think, my idea is that we should just create maintain a white majority and have whites as, just protected in a way that there will be more whites in the future, maybe encouraged to breed and so on, but I wouldn't necessarily want a hardline approach of, dragging people out of their houses. I'm not particularly fond of foreigners, but I don't think I could do that myself, so, I don't think so. I think, the future of the right could be a bit more... a bit fairer, maybe pick out bad character rather than just But anyway, it's a fancy, all of that. The key I wanted to make, the key point, is that I think Labour, the real reason these elections have been brought forward is because the high up people, the secret state and so on, have tried to create the perfect storm where Corbyn will get in, and I guarantee you once he gets in, all the anti-Semite type stuff will disappear. It's funny how they never find anti-white or anti-Christian, but you know, I guess we don't matter, do we? Anyway, look, don't vote Labour, right? If you're a liberal, vote fucking Greens or something, okay? And you know, if you do, well, trust me, being a liberal is not going to protect you in the years to come, and you'll reap what you sow. You get your mischief. You have your fucking so-called trendy Corbyn, who's just some wanker in a cardigan to be. You know, oh look, we've got the wonderful Corbyn in power. What a wonderful chap. And then will you be saying he's so wonderful when it comes to fucking bite you in the arse, you fucking idiots, right? But I've told you, I've warned you. Don't say I didn't warn you. And let's end it there. God bless. In Jesus' name, I pray to everyone who feels hopeless in this situation. You know, you're not alone. There are good people out there, and your feelings are not bad or racist or whatever. It's natural, okay? Our natural feelings are not right, according to our government. That makes them out of order. Okay? Anyway, cheers, guys. God bless, and